On today's episode of Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Oh, that Miss Mackenzie Graham, she's so naughty, no? In the short dresses, playing golf. Oh, you're so to madam, you. So, ladies and gentlemen, over the weekend, the Golden Globe Awards took place. I used to be mad about this ceremony years ago when Breaking Bad and Mad Men were doing their rounds, and me as a very enthusiastic fan of those shows would always wait to see if John Hamm was going to get robbed by Bryan Cranston yet again, which he did consecutively. But what made this Golden Globes very interesting over the weekend, Ricky Gervais wasn't there. He wasn't hired to put some common sense rationality into Hollywood's very elite, self-entitled, narcissistic actors and actresses.
You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer, and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? Right.
Nope. This time they got somebody called Joe Coy. Who?
Whoa, and I can feel it.
Well, space fans, exciting news, huh? And there's even more in part 2.
I'm coming for you, boy. I'm coming hard.
I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm getting the feeling.
In the ass end of space, even aliens watch Jason King with Kung Fu Hot Dog. Duke Nukem likes this guy.
Exactly. I've never even heard of this gentleman. But I tell you what, if Joe was doing the things that he did on stage to go viral, well, I tell you something, it certainly worked. So if we go over to Variety, the Golden Globes host Joe Coy opens show with Barry Keoghan's Willie and Ozempic jokes to mixed response. Yeah, so this was a reference to The Color Purple, where he said, well, that's what you get if you take Ozempic and it turns your ass purple. Actually, if you think my butchering is bad, good grief, wait until I show you the footage of this guy. Now, literally, this guy, Mr. Coy, which is ironic he's got that surname because was he anything but coy? I guess he wasn't. And now, look, the reason why CBS TV hired this man, because he meets that diversity checkmark quota. You know, the one that Larry Fink from BlackRock always keeps harping on about? You got to check behaviors, you got to check this, you got to get that, and if you don't, you're not getting your next paycheck for next year. And Mr. Coy is half American, half Filipino, so you can gather already this guy is supposed to be going places. Now, if you look at his IMDb checklist here, I mean, he's one of today's premier stand-up comics. He's come a long way from his modest beginnings performing at a Las Vegas coffee house. And maybe after this, Joe, you might have to go back there and beg the manager for a job. The comedian who pulls inspiration from his family and not pulling anything else, if you get my drift. Specifically, his son sells out to arenas and theaters across the world. And in 2017, he broke a record for the most ticket sales sold by a singular artist at the Neil S. Blaisdell Concert Hall in Honolulu. So the man's got some cred, right? And if you look at his CV, here, he's in the Monkey King, whatever that is. Aquafina is Nora from Queens. Well, anything with Aquafina, I avoid like a rash. Easter Sunday, Mr. Iglesias. So not a very big, extensive IMDb list because I guess he's been doing stand-up all his life. But imagine that you're in front of the world's audience. You're at the Golden Globes ceremony. I want to say Golden Globes. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about Salma Hayek again, or Jennifer Connelly for that matter. But as you can see from the title here, he makes a joke about Taylor Swift. Now, I've got to give you my 10 cents here. I don't give a shit about Taylor Swift. I don't care how many millions of fans she's got around the world. Her music is not my sort of thing. And yes, she's got a popsicle permanently shoved up her ass. Of course she does. But this is the joke that he mentioned and the reaction that he got afterwards. And I've got to say, Mr. Coy was crashing and burning more harder than a flight over Malaysia. Now, you see, that was actually a pretty good joke.
Big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL. On the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift. I swear. There's just more to go to here.
Yeah, now, what he's making a reference to, because she's dating a Kansas City Chief player, and this ceremony actually followed a National Football League game. So already you can see that there's a bit of, I mean, it's almost like canned laughter, right? And yep, she's not impressed. Yep, well, that's it. I mean, if you're going to go down in flames, you might as well just get the annoying death stare of Miss Taylor Swift to do that for you. And he does this several times throughout the whole ceremony. His jokes aren't getting any laughs. Robert De Niro's looking at him like, who is this guy? And apparently, during rehearsals, everything seemed to be fine. But then on the day itself, he just went off script and did his own thing. And going off script is not the best advice in many cases. I have a little shred of sympathy for Mr. Coy, because going out there and for your jokes to bomb harder than... I can't say that next one. I'm gonna get hurt by the comment section. But you can figure out what I was about to say next after bombing. But Joe Coy has been doing stand-up for a long time, so he should know better than to go off script. So again, why nobody actually vetoed this, I don't know. And this is an earlier Comedy Central special of him. So I'll play this quick excerpt.
Can you take that seriously? Go, we got, he's really saying something there.
So in case you didn't guess, he's mocking Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was mayor of Carmel, California. I believe it was Carmel.
Remember when he was talking about the border? We're gonna build the border. The Mexican don't even speak English. What the hell are you saying?
See, that's pretty funny. That's actually not a bad joke. It's pretty funny. But then again, Arnold Schwarzenegger has always known that his thick Austrian accent was a problem when he arrived to the Hollywood scene in 1969.
Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. That sketch was not too bad.
If you think things are bad now, oh boy, we got to talk about... Now, I was alerted to this today, actually, and it's concerning Gravity Rush. So as you can see here, the blondie on the right is the main character for Gravity Rush. She's a red-eyed blonde. I guess she hasn't had much sleep then. Boobs on show and a nice bit of cleavage and a lot of skin. Good heavens above. This was Japanese video gaming back in the day, folks. And her companion is not a bad-looking sort either. Yes, I know she's animated. They're both animated ladies, just like my animated nature. But of course, if I just show you this next part here, you won't believe what Sony are now doing. So at the 2-minute and 15-second mark, this is a live-action version of Gravity Rush. Remember the images I just showed you.
They come through.
Our goal is to make sure that filmmakers feel really comfortable just...
This is the same character, the red-eyed blonde, that you just saw a few moments ago. This is meant to be a live-action version. I'm not sure if it's like live-action, like they're getting an actual actress to come in to play the role, or it's just like a CGI animation. There you go. That's a very good screen grab on Twitter X. Holy shit. Fans of Gravity Rush are not happy. You got to remember, about 2 years ago, Sony closed all their Japanese gaming divisions, and you can see why, right? Just so they can go in there and rework things to the Western gaming point of view. In other words, you can't have attractive women anymore. They've all got to be covered up like this soulless bint right here. They've obviously changed the hue of their complexion. Oh, why am I not surprised anymore to see that? It's just utterly laughable. I'm not even going to say any other words to describe this monstrosity right here. It's laughable because it won't make any money. Nobody's crying out for a Gravity Rush movie of sorts. And in fact, if you look at the comments here, Sony will do everything but bring back the team to make a new Gravity Rush game. Literally no one asked for a movie adaptation. I don't understand Sony's obsession with hyperrealism. Do they really think it will help sell their niche series more by taking away their distinct art styles or visions? If they can't appeal to the fans, they appeal to nobody. I see absolutely zero reason for the Gravity Rush movie to not be animated like the Spider-Verse. Well, the first Spider-Verse film was good. The second one, not so much, because he had a pregnant black Spider-Woman who was annoying as hell, and he had Gwen Stacy with a Protect Trans Kid poster in her room, because as I said in a previous video, the based version of Miss Stacy would never have that. I like the old-fashioned girls that I grew up with, not this new wave nonsense that I'm seeing now. So Gravity Rush is being turned into a live-action movie, and they completely destroyed the the video game source counterpart. I'm sure this is going to get a lot of traction in due course. And you know what? A few days ago, I talked about that South Korean model who people didn't believe is the actual face for Stellar Blade and the face and the body, shall I say. And quite clearly she is. And people are body shaming her as well. Like, oh, that can't be your body. Oh, you're too this, you're too that. Somebody even likened her to a 12-year-old person. Apparently, if you like women with bodies like that, it means you're into 12-year-olds. And I'll say to that moronic individual who mentioned that remark, maybe you, sir, are into them anyway. Hence, why would you bring up such a very oddball comparison? Yeah, so here's a moment from Death Stranding by Hideo Kojima in 2019. And this specimen right here is Margaret Qualley, who is the daughter of Andy McDowell, the now retired actress, I believe she is. And as you can see, the apple didn't fall far from that beauty tree. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, isn't that a beautiful scan? You know, they body scanned and face scanned Miss McDowell's daughter, and they did a fantastic job. I'd actually even say they made her even more beautiful than her real life counterpart, which is a bizarre thing to say. But I mean, look, I've not played Death Stranding yet. I know it's a walking, talking simulator with boxes, but honestly, seeing amazing cutscenes like this, I want to get lost in that. And yeah, you can shush me anytime you want to, Miss Qualley. Good grief. Wow. What I wouldn't give to be that baby right now. Ouch. And, you know, this is an interesting thing with mocapping, because it's what they teach you in acting school. Use your imagination, just pretend something is there, and use your power, your mind muscles to imagine that thing as being real. I mean, I had some fun doing that in private, but that's another video for another day. And of course, we have to talk about this monstrosity right here. Not you, Miss Qualley. Doctor Who. Well, you know how badly this TV show has sunk into the dredges recently. And now it's been announced that Shoots Me Gatwa and Millie Gibson's Doctor Who, their future is very unlikely after 2025. It looks doubtful. I can't imagine why. And it's really weird. I can't even imagine why 2025 is the fact that we're getting one more season of this brand new Doctor Who, because really it should have ended this year. But of course, you know, we had Millie Gibson coming out recently talking about the fact, oh, the theories are going to have Gen Z agenda topics to address. That's especially for you, Miss Gibson. Why do we need Gen Z stuff in a Doctor Who film or story or TV show? Why? It's not needed, is it? And Ncuti Gatwa is just quite possibly the worst choice you could have gone with. Richard Ayoade, Patterson Joseph, I said those two were much better choices, but Gatwa gives this excuse of, I'm going to go back to the theatre because it holds me tight when I've been broke, but I'm planning to get back into it in 2024 after I finish season 2 of Destroying Doctor Who. Translated, that means, well, we infiltrated your beloved IP, we destroyed it, our desecration didn't actually change people's minds, it turned them against us, so now we're just going to backpedal and just crawl back into our little hole somewhere and stay there. Yeah, good, serves you right, because nobody wanted this Doctor Who. Nobody asked for it. If there was a shred of good writing, you cut out the nonsense with Miss Alberto Finney, you know her, the one that's the other version of Rose, because you can't have Rose Tyler anymore as played by Billie Piper. You have to have this other version instead, this trans version, which nobody liked. I mean, you get the pretend robotic comments in there, right? Oh, she's powerful and progressive and she's put David Tennant in his place. I mean, why would David Tennant, and let's face it, the guy's a bit woke as well, agree to come back to this? Was he forced at gunpoint? But this Doctor Who, this iteration, it needs to be buried now for at least 15 to 20 years. Resurrect it and just make sure whatever happened before, including Jodie Whittaker, never surfaces again. But folks, I have to leave you with this particular excerpt from Seth MacFarlane, 2013 Oscar night. Instead of having Joe Coy, obviously very shy because he couldn't tread on terra firma and say some real provocative stuff as a jobbing comedian. But Seth MacFarlane, you know, when you see the reactions of the actresses, who this song is geared to, it's quite hypocritical that they do that, because they had no problem showing their tits off in a film, whether it was recently or years and years ago, to get up that ladder, to get some credibility to their performances. I didn't even know Meryl Streep had done a bit of nudie stuff. I thought she did it in the French Lieutenant's Woman, but no, she apparently did it in other films. I was quite surprised, but yeah, let's just enjoy this one more time, folks.
We saw your boobs. We saw your boobs. In the movie that we saw your boobs. Meryl Streep, we saw your boobs in Silkwood. Naomi Watts in Mulholland Drive.
Oh, look at her face.
Nicole Kidman and Eyes Wide Shut. Marissa Tomei in The Wrestler, but we haven't seen Jennifer Lawrence's boobs at all. We saw your boobs. We saw your boobs. Kristen Stewart, we saw your boobs in On the Road. And in Monster, we saw Charlize Theron's. Helen Hunt, we saw them in the sessions. And Scarlett Johansson, we saw them on our phones.
You know, I gotta give J. Law some credit here, Jennifer Lawrence. At least she took it with a good sense of humor, throwing her fist up. Good for her. Ironically, of course, we did get to see her boobs either before or after when the fappening happened. So good for her at least. At least Jennifer Lawrence, despite the fact she's gone a bit strange in the last couple of years, but at least back then she was like a based, you know what, I'm just going to take that on the chin. But just to see the look on Naomi Watts' face and Charlize Theron, obviously the most insufferable of the bunch right there. I've lost all respect for her, I have. And, you know, Charlize Theron, I mean, the running joke with her, like in the early part of her career, she couldn't wait to get her boobs out and show them to the world. I mean, bloody hell, Ben Affleck had a face fall in Reindeer Games. So it makes her the hypocrite that she sits there going, how dare you bring up my past again, when everybody can see your bloody film catalogue anyway, love. So what are you moaning and groaning about? Oh, he can't go in there. Seth MacFarlane, he got a lot of criticism for that, but at least it was refreshing and it was great. And he looked a bit like an American 007 there on stage in his tuxedo. Didn't he look good? But this is obviously because of Ted, the movie. It put him on the spotlight as somebody who could actually make a really R-rated, subversive movie about a foul-mouthed teddy bear, and it really ran down well with audiences, maybe even some of the 13-year-olds who thought it was a cute teddy bear, and Patrick Stewart just lending his narration, which was just a chef's kiss. But on that one, ladies and gentlemen, did you enjoy this roundup of stories today? I know I certainly did. I had a good old chuckle and a whale of a time just reacting to these videos for you. And on that one, if you enjoyed this particular one today, let me know in the comments below. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and if I were you, and if you were me, you better come back for the next video.
泣いたって昨日は昨日さあ明日じゃない